New Zealand, one of the top 10 happiest countries in the world, and the highest Asia-Pacific country, is a nice place to live. Known for its beautiful landscapes and friendly people, it is a captivating island nation that beckons explorers from all corners of the globe with its breathtaking fjords, pristine beaches, lush forests, and vibrant cities. It was here, in this country, that today's case took place, specifically, in Auckland. On the evening of August 24, 2006, Ian and Lorraine Ashley got a call from Auckland City Hospital about their son. This wasn't something they expected, as their son was supposed to be in prison, serving time for a misdemeanor. They believed the call was a mistake by the hospital. Maybe someone else who also bears the name of their son ended up in the hospital one way or another. But then, the authorities confirmed it was actually their 17-year-old son Liam at the hospital. 17-year-old Liam Ashley hadn't always been on the wrong side of the law. He had a loving family, and grew up in a nice home. He has been described by those who knew him to have been a kind and hardworking young man. He was helpful to all those in need and would usually go the extra mile for his friends and family whenever they needed help. But, when he became a teenager, things changed. Apart from being a kind young man, Liam was the typical teenager with more than a little bit of spice. He was an adrenaline junkie and would always do things his parents weren't comfortable with. They spoke to him a few times and even threatened him with things they felt he wouldn't want to lose. But, Liam remained the same. Soon, his behavior got out of hand and his parents would always hear about things he had done from outsiders. They threatened he would end up in juvie or even in prison if he didn't change, but all warnings fell on deaf ears. On a fateful day in August of 2006, Liam left home with his mom's car, without permission. Mr. and Mrs. Ashley, faced with the fatigue of his constant antics, decided to teach him a lesson. They reported the vehicle to the police as a subject of a robbery. The police, swift in action, immediately located the car and detained Liam. He was taken to prison for the night and remained there for a few days. His parents, in their bid to teach him a lesson, wanted him to go through the entire process. I mean, he at this time already had run-ins with the law, and so they felt maybe, just maybe, this would trigger an attitude change. He spent some time behind bars waiting for his appearance in court, and during that time, confided in his lawyer about feeling unsafe in prison. He was told to keep his head up as he wouldn't be there for a long time. After all, the car belonged to his parents and they definitely would have forgiven him. On the 24th of August 2006, Liam appeared in court and an amount was set as his bail. His parents decided to deny him bail as they really wanted him to turn a new leaf. They thought it was time he understood actions had consequences and firmly believed that prison would be the appropriate environment for him to reflect and correct his bad behavior. And so a shaken Liam found himself aboard a van, awaiting transportation to Auckland Central Remand Prison along with two other individuals who had extensive criminal records. One man, George Baker, who had been classified as extremely dangerous and suffered from borderline personality disorder by authorities, quickly introduced himself to Liam. The two men, connected by their wariness towards prison and handcuffed together, decided to escape, and so they made a deal that ultimately took one person's life. According to the third man, David Olds, who was also in the van when all these unfolded, their escape plan was for George to put Liam in a sleeper hold, and when Liam went unconscious, they would call the attentions of the guards up front. When the door to the van is opened, they'd run out. Honestly, I don't know how they thought this plan would work, because only one of them would have been conscious enough to make an escape. David Olds confessed to them, asking him if he wanted to be involved, but he declined, stating the fact that he only had a 1-month sentence to serve. According to this witness, they were going to escape, and then hide out in Liam's grandparents' house, which was close by. When George put Liam in a sleeper hold at first, Liam asked him to choke him tighter and they went back and forth for a while until George snapped. George, who had a personality disorder, suddenly started telling Liam he was going to kill him. He then turned to David to ask him if he should go ahead, to which David replied no, and he had to let the young man go. In the words of David Olds, George had a crazed look on his face and was wrenching Liam's neck from side to side, trying to break it. The 17-year-old, sensing things were escalating, tried his best to free himself, but he was only a teenager, and when compared to the strength of the 25-year-old dangerous criminal, there was nothing he could do. David Olds claimed he tried to intervene, but George had warned him, saying he had a knife and he was going to stab him, and then go ahead to kill his family members if he tried anything, and so, David only watched helplessly as the fight slowly left Liam's weakened body. Remember, all these was happening in the compartment at the back of the van, and not one guard turned back to check on them or see what was going on. The drive from the courthouse to the prison was about 30 minutes and soon they arrived at the prison. When George noticed they had arrived and the van had stopped, he stomped on Liam's head 7 times as he laid unconscious on the floor. He then went ahead to smear the young boy's blood on his face and clothes, before waiting for the doors to open. Immediately the doors opened, David rushed out, to hide behind a line of guards, who were shocked at the sight before them. George then reportedly said, "Get this fella an ambulance, I just killed him." Liam Ashley was immediately rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced brain dead as he had sustained severe brain injuries. The following day, at around 10:30 a.m., his family chose to remove him from life support. 17-year-old Liam Ashley died on the 25th of August 2006, at 10:45 a.m. When the news about young Liam broke, the public was outraged. How could this have happened? Also, why was a minor being transported with other criminals? They also called for the swift punishment of George Baker, Liam's killer. George Baker pleaded guilty to all charges and was given a life sentence with a minimum of 18 years to be spent. Following his conviction, George remained in the public spotlight after several further violent incidents inside Auckland Prison. In July 2008, while being returned to Auckland Prison from Auckland City Hospital after treatment for self-inflicted injuries, he pulled a concealed shiv on a prison officer in an attempt to escape. The prison officer received minor injuries and George was returned to Auckland Prison. On the 27th of August 2009, George Baker took a fellow inmate hostage in prison using a makeshift knife and 2 razor blades. The police managed to defuse the situation, and nobody was harmed in the incident. In 2010, he was found guilty on charges that resulted from these 2 incidents and was subsequently sentenced to preventive detention with no possibility of parole for at least 16 years. Liam Ashley's parents continue to live with the guilt of sending their son to his early grave. For years, they punished themselves for not paying his bail and believed if they had done things differently, their son would still be alive. To make matters worse, up until 2 years after Liam's death, they didn't know what exactly had ensued in the van as David Olds, the only witness, refused to speak about it. Liam Ashley's death also brought about a change in New Zealand's laws. After his unfortunate death, it became illegal to transport minors and adult offenders in the same vehicle compartment. The New Zealand authorities also began testing waist restraints for prisoners to ensure limited movements during transportation. Liam Ashley was a teenager who didn't deserve what happened to him. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Also, turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video.